Welcome, Media Men Online. I'm Dan. This is Isaiah.
What up? What up?
And this is the Screen Players podcast. Got some movies, a couple of brand new items, actually. One of them I just watched about an hour ago. So we'll get into that. I'm going to start off with got a lot of Superman on this episode. This is per Forbes, so take it with a pinch of salt or whatever your saying's going to be. Superman's an immigrant? Question mark. Director James Gunn faces right wing backlash for claim. So, Superman is I don't know, super woke. That's one of the things that it wasn't that woke, but it kind of was. But we'll get into that. So, what are your thoughts on your boy here?
I think Superman's always been quote unquote an immigrant. I don't know, like it I watched the movie, then I heard about all the review backlash and then this thing as well, and I was just like, I don't see any of this stuff. Like it just felt like a Superman movie to me. Yeah, it's like that's reading what they're saying there because of his displacement from his home planet to Kansas. That's literally Superman. I Why is it a problem now? I don't know.
Well, because
You
they're making an emphasis on it and they're saying truth instead of truth justice in the American way, it's truth justice in the human way.
when did
Now,
Wait, when did they say that? I don't remember that in the movie. In the human
yeah.
way?
Mm-hmm. And it used to be truth justice in the American way. Now, if we're being honest, Superman was made in the 1930s when people were allowed to love their country. Oh, sorry. People were allowed to love America. You can love your country as long as it's not the stars and bars. That's fine. But to me, the movie didn't seem very woke. I think this is just Forbes trying to pull something out of nothing. Even the people who I watch who tend to be more of what do you call it? Like drama streamers, drama channels and that kind of thing. They're not even saying it was that bad. I mean, now, as with anything, I watched the movie and then the reviews. But I don't know. It didn't feel super woke to me. It didn't feel really woke at all. There's a black gentleman in the movie who does not mention his race one bit whatsoever. So I was very happy about that. I thought that was coming at some point, but it didn't. The movie was it was down the middle. I thought there's a couple things where I kind of rolled my eyes, but uh, other than that, I think this is just trying to pull something out of nothing. And I don't know Connor Murray, the author of this article from a hole in the wall, but maybe he's just, maybe these companies are just farming for clicks. I don't know.
It doesn't sound as good, and I get why I here's the thing. I think people don't understand what it means to say truth, justice, the American way. That doesn't mean it's only for Americans, or even just the idea that oh, America is perfect and everything, because but it's kind of what it represents. And I think I recently watched that like Superman versus the Elite, which is based off of the comic, which I believe is called Truth, Justice, the American Way, right, or something like that. But it's like it's about the ideals, though. That movie and that comic don't take place just in America, but it's about the ideals and values, and I don't see how those have changed since all that stuff has come out. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like it's kind of dumb, but I don't think it's like you were saying. It's not something that we need to start saying like, "Oh, the movie's woke for." I don't know.
There's there I don't think there was woke in there, but I think there was a lot of 2025 in there, which is not a good thing. That's never a good thing. But let me just I don't think for one second that if this movie was about how American Superman was and he was fighting off the uh whatever war was coming towards America, I don't think that it would affect the interest in this movie whatsoever. Because guess what? Superman was created by Americans. He landed in America, which means I thought by these same people standards that if he was born in America, right, he's allowed to stay. So I was trying to pull up the numbers for Top Gun Maverick so we could see an American movie does well overseas, but the numbers website is just not moving along here. So we'll get more into Superman in a little bit. All right. On to sad news. Rest in peace, Julian McMahon, famous for Nip Tuck, famous for Doctor Doom. And most recently, I saw a movie called The Surfer with Nicolas Cage, which he was the antagonist, and he was quite good in it. But the young age of 56, you just never know, do you? Never know when that bell's going to come ringing.
Like whenever I thought Doctor Doom, because that was my first, not just my first exposure, but I also just really liked him in that role. I thought of him, so it's definitely very sad to hear. Especially, you might think, oh, 56, that's kind of what it's like. Well, no, he still probably had a good 30 years ahead of him for like your average lifespan. So it's unfortunate. Very, very sad.
Yep. And yeah, it's definitely going to be better than this new one, which I'm definitely not seeing. So RIP Julian McMahon. I thought this was a little bit of a funny one. Brad Pitt says Tom Cruise dropped out of Ford versus Ferrari when he realized that he himself, instead of stunt drivers, would not be driving that much, which is just classic Tom Cruise. And Ford
Yeah.
versus Ferrari was probably what, 2017, 2018,
Yeah, that
around there.
sounds right. I was gonna say 16, but that's
2019. So
19.
very good movie, and I just think thought it was just a funny little bit that Cruz just can't help himself. The guy's like 60
Yeah.
some years old, and he's just freaking
My life's
dropping.
not gonna be in danger. No, thank you.
He's the top action star in the world, and he's 60 something. It's crazy. A new Black Clover anime announced. It'll be on Crunchyroll, of course. Now this is the sequel. It will follow the. Oh God, I had it up here. It will follow the something Kingdom arc. I'll have to pull that back up, but Black Clover is pretty solid. It's similar to Mashal in some ways in terms of the aesthetic, but Asta, the main character, he's such a screamy boy that it pulls you out of it pretty quick. It's called the Spade Kingdom Raid arc. So it's a fun series. The art's fantastic, and it says here that the same team will be coming back. Studio Hero will continue with the animation, which is a good thing. It's fantastic, but the screaming that Asta does, you can't binge this show. You got well, at least I can't. You got to take it in bits because he screams early and often. Say, all right, there you go.
We've talked about this game so much. I'm not gonna talk a lot. It's just we on this podcast we discuss stuff that we've been doing. So I thought I'd just mention. Still making my way through Expedition 33. I made it past the first act. I have gotten the last party member. That's where I'm at in the story. And yeah, I'm really digging the character work and learning more of what's been going on with some of the people in the world, but we still haven't really gotten, like I say, I still really haven't gotten answers about what, like, why all these things are happening, like with the paintress and all that. So I'm still, you know, just hungry for more information on that, but getting more information on the human characters. I don't really want to say anything more than that because I don't don't want to spoil for anybody who hasn't played it yet. But I just did the manor part, if you know, in the old city, if you know what I'm talking about. And I'm just very, very interested to see more of what's going on with that. So yeah, I'll continue to update probably once I finish Act 2. Maybe then I'll just be like, okay, we're just gonna jump into spoilers, or maybe I'll just wait till I finish the game. Maybe do a spoiler-filled review. Finally, I think getting the hang of the The combat, I still have a little trouble with the timing on like parries and dodges with how well or how they aren't entirely always telegraphed well. But yeah, I think I've really sunken into the rhythm of this game, and it's a very very good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I finally watched Ballerina, the from the pages of John Wick 3 or whatever the hell it was. Keanu Reeves is in this movie a bit more than I thought he'd be. I thought it was just going to be a cameo of, "Hey, what's up? I'm Keanu Reeves. I'm the boogeyman."
That's what it looks like at
Whatever.
first.
But he's in it more than I thought. Now,
He's in it more than Norman Reedus, right?
yeah, I think so. The movie's fine. The main actress is solid. The story fits with the franchise. The story, the theme, everything fits right along with the John Wick series. I just couldn't find myself caring very much about the character. And it kind of reminded me if John Wick 3 was the first John Wick, how I wouldn't have like sympathized with him as much as I do. Because, sure, she is getting revenge for her father. Very easy to understand revenge plot. But I just didn't feel anything about it. Like the action was good, the fight scenes were good. It was very John Wick in that sense. The settings I did enjoy, like the snowy Austrian small town mountain setting in the final act. That was interesting and new.
if
But
if you want a perfect example of what you're talking about with how you don't feel anything, the sister character.
no, yeah, that didn't do anything for me. And it was strange with the dad. He tells the sister that Ballerina is her sister. And then the sister meets the sister and she goes, "The sister we just met is trying to tell the main gal that they're sisters." And it's just this awkward conversation. You just cut that bit out and have them. Here's how you do it. The two sisters are facing off. Neither knows they're sisters. The dad walks in and says, "Oh, you guys are sisters." Then you cut like a whole 3.5 minutes out of like weird awkwardness.
But then they would just cut to her spoilers, just instantly dying then immediately after. So it's like, why? Who cares? It had no point being in the movie, and that's a lot of the stuff with the movie is they introduce things, don't really add to it a lot, so you don't really have a lot of emotion in it. The only character that you kind of feel, or there's only two characters you really care about at all, and I'd say that's the main actress here, Eve, and then John Wick, because you've had 4 movies with John Wick. Like that's all you care about.
There's a few cameos by previous characters. There's a moment with the gun sommelier scene where I started to get bored because we'd seen it 3 times, 4 times already, however many times they've done it in the movies. But as soon as I got bored with the scene, I'm like, we did this. Do something else. They bust in and interrupt it. So
Yeah, I
that was
love
a
that.
positive note. As soon as I started to the I no BS. The moment I started to roll my eyes, they chopped it off. So it must have been like something in screen testing where they're like, "Is this the point? No, hold it now," which I think would be a pretty interesting thing. And then the last thing I'll say is I'm not just gonna complain about it and not give you a fix, but the thing about the dad, what I would do to fix this is not add to the length of the movie, but I would shave off a bit of the training arc that was probably about 20 minutes where she's, learning, and add that to when she's a kid. Why was her dad so important to her? I get it. She's her dad, but maybe because if you think about John Wick 1, if it was just they killed a dog, well, they're bastards, but they killed a dog from his dead wife.
Yeah.
So it's like double torture to this guy. So you got to give me a little bit more about, because I get it. It's her dad. It sucks, but you got to give me more.
If you want to like what I thought of which I can say now since you saw it, that I think this movie does worse than this other movie is Boy Kills World, because there's actually a lot of overlap with some of the stuff in that movie and this movie that I think that movie does slightly better, like with the sister reveal. You know, that's basically in both movies, but you actually care way more about her because they've built up his family, and it's not just I want revenge. It's kind of like why he wants revenge, how long he's been working towards this. Like we don't. I think that's the big thing is it just feels like her dad died and then she didn't care until these people tried to come and kill her, and all of a sudden she cares about revenge. Whereas like with Boy, you can see that revenge is all that's been on his mind, and it's been his single goal his entire life. And that makes you kind of involved in the plot a little bit more. Same, it's I don't know. I just felt like why did the reveal of the sister work in Boys Kills World and it didn't work in this movie? And why do I care about the revenge plot in that movie more than I do in this one? I think it's because like it's built up and focused on way more, whereas you forget that it's a revenge plot until the people come back into her life and try to kill her, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's right, I want revenge for my dad, and it's like, what?
Right.
Where's
We
that been
needed a
the
little
past
more
10,
reason
15
why
years?
you're on this like bloodthirsty path.
Yeah.
But
Also, why did those people come and try to kill her? Because later in the movie, they act as if they didn't know who she was. Like, oh, that she's the
yeah.
daughter of this guy. Why did those people come and try to kill her then? They never explain that. The whole thing that kicks off the entire movie, I thought, oh, they finally found her. Then they're trying to get her back or try to kill her. But no, they didn't know that's who she was. So I'm like, why did that happen then?
Yeah.
Might be an editing thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a solid like 7 out of 10 movie. It's good. It's fine, but I would just rather watch John Wick, but like if you're in the mood for this, it's just I mean, it's one of those things where you could just like if you're on a John Wick marathon, you pop this one in like in the middle. You do John Wick 3 then this or this then John Wick 3. It doesn't really matter, but overall it was decent. It was fine. Like my wife wanted to see this one, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Jurassic World Rebirth. Uh so they give you a slight overview of the current state of the world. People have abandoned the dinosaur idea. It still falls in the world of Jurassic Park existed, and they did all that, and now the dinosaurs are just dying out because of the temperature. It's not a global warming thing, but it's too cold in like New York or wherever they were in the beginning. Chicago, I can't remember if it's New York or Chicago, but uh their bodies can't handle it. Obviously, throwback to the Ice Age, I guess. But then they jump right into the mission. We do a little bit of we meet Scarlett Johansson. We meet this guy here who's very good. I don't know who he is, but is it Jonathan Bailey? Yeah. So he's quite good in the movie. The characters are solid. Ed Skrein is in this one. Is it Skrine or Screen, whatever? He's the guy who he was in the Transporter. He was the bad guy in Deadpool, Alita Battle Angel. He dies very quickly, spoiler alert. But the whole gimmick is it's a pharmaceutical situation. There's this rich guy who wants to pay them to retrieve DNA from 3 different types of dinosaurs so they can create a new drug to prevent heart disease or at least prolong it. They say by 20 years, which obviously in America is a huge thing. So they have to get one from a one in the water, one in the air, and one on the ground. They get right into it. There's a variety of action sequences. There's a cliffhanger scene, a couple of boat chases. There's a T-Rex raft situation, which unless you see the the physics in that raft sequence are absolute bananas. Like, how does a T-Rex not puncture an inflatable raft? Can somebody tell me, please? Somebody who knows rafts. Do we have a raft expert out there? Jesus. They do play with the pharmaceutical dilemma. Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey's characters debate whether or not they should hand the stuff over to this billionaire guy who's just gonna, you know, make trillions off of it by being a scumbag, a pharmaceutical, you know, lock it behind a paywall, that kind of deal. So there's that whole dilemma. It was a typical Jurassic Park movie, but the ending was a bit too safe for me. It seems like they're setting up for a sequel. This is another movie I saw this week that's a 7 out of 10. There's no bangers this week. The only one this year really so far has been F1 and Mission Impossible, but there's a lot of 7 out of 10 action in 2025. It's very mid-year, but it's not a bad movie. I think it was better than 2 out of the 3 of the Chris Pratt ones. I don't think it was better than any of the original trilogy, but it's been a while since I've seen Jurassic Park 3. I can't even remember what it's called. What's the
Just
third
called
one
Jurassic
called?
Park 3.
Is it?
It's just Jurassic Park 3
Oh,
because they
yeah,
went
there you
Jurassic
go.
Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and then Jurassic Park 3.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been a long time, and funny enough, it's a 2.8 on Letterboxd, and so is Jurassic World Rebirth. So there you go. Yeah, I can't remember them. It's been so long. The first one I've seen probably a dozen times in my life, but I can't remember the other two that well. But yeah, it was better than yeah, it was definitely better than Dominion for sure. I've never seen Fallen Kingdom, and it. I think this one was better. The first Chris Pratt was better than this. But it was surprisingly. I thought I'm not. When I was a kid, I was super into dinosaurs and space, and I don't like those kinds of movies anymore. But I thought I was going to be bored as hell. But it's a fun movie. It's just it's kind of dumb actiony, which is what you want. Scarlett Johansson's not cringy, surprisingly. So, uh, yeah, she's pretty solid. That dude that was supposed to play Blade, he's pretty good in it. You got to be in the mood for it, but I would recommend this movie if you love the Jurassic Park slash Jurassic World movies because it's solid, and they do this thing where they go to this island where there have been some meddling in the DNA of certain species. I'll leave it at that, and it becomes interesting because how many times can you see a brontosaurus or a T-Rex and be like, "Oh my god, I'm scared now"? But no, there've been some tampering with the DNA of some of these creatures, so it gets interesting in that sense. It's a recommend. I would say go check it out. Was it better than Ballerina? Yes.
Wow. Alrighty, Superman. So you saw this one then earlier today
No, I saw it yesterday.
or yesterday? Okay. I liked a lot of what it's doing, and as a movie where maybe if part of its purpose is supposed to be getting me excited for future DC, like for the upcoming universe that they're creating and getting me interested in a lot of characters they might be doing more with, I'd say it succeeded in that. It still has, though not as bad as Marvel currently is, it still has some of the issue of having a serious moment and then undercutting it with a joke. I'm kind of really over that being like a thing that all comic book movies do. This one doesn't do it every time, but especially they have to have their what I like to call Avengers moment at the end, and it's made me really roll my eyes. And it was really dumb, but I did overall in the end like the movie. I liked the character. I think the thing I liked the most was the characters, and that the people act or that the actors playing them did a very very good job playing those characters.
The costume definitely sucked. Like I thought during the preview it was going to suck, and it definitely sucked. It looked too baggy or something. I can't quite put. It looked like his undies were a diaper. I don't know. It was just a little too loose fitting. A little bit of maybe he could fit some maybe he's wearing a watch. That's why his sleeves are so loose. I don't know. But the visual effects very good. Nathan Fillion is the man. He's a rich man's Pedro Pascal, who I can't I almost did a swear. So sick of seeing this Fantastic Four movie. Can this dumbass movie just come out so I can stop seeing this dude on my screen every single time I see a movie,
Well,
please?
well, then you're gonna have 3 other trailers with him in it. Then after that, for a different movie.
Yeah, that's true. The Superman actor was solid. I did not like him as Clark Kent, but I liked him as Superman. He was a bit too samey as Clark Kent. You're supposed when you're Clark Kent, you're sup- you're supposed to take some of the bass out of your voice. You're supposed to slouch a little bit. That's kind of I mean, I know they do explain it away with saying he puts up some kind of thing, some sort of imaginary thing. But the thing is you gotta change up your posture a little bit and your voice a little bit, and then that way when you're Superman, then you put the bass in your voice. And there was a scene with Lois Lane where she's interviewing him and she's really freaking giving him she's grilling him, we'll say. And when he starts yelling, he's kind of a little too I don't it felt cringy when he started yelling. I don't know exactly how to explain it. But Lois Lane got a little annoying at times, but she's supposed to be because she's like an irritating reporter, like an old school uh by any means necessary reporter. Nicholas Holt was great, but not as Lex Luthor. He felt like a really good villain, but he didn't feel like Lex Luthor to me. So maybe he's a bit too young or seemed a bit too young because Lex Luthor should be an older guy and not really like playing a video game on screen. You know what I mean? It just seemed a bit too young, I guess. I don't know. Nicholas Holt's great, and if they would have just called him something else, maybe he's a new villain. Maybe he's the gamer or something. Like he would have been like I liked him, but he just didn't feel Lex Luthor to me.
Let's just get on with the story and move on from there and have a fun story. And I do like that aspect. Same thing with the Justice Gang, where they're not sitting there around. You know, the only line you get is, "Yeah, I was sent here by the Green Lantern's Corps." We don't have to have this whole like, "This is who the Green Lantern Corps are and what they believe in," and blah 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 blah. We don't need any of that. And I actually, because a character I don't know very well, but I want to know more about, and that's what I think this movie was trying to do. Is I really liked Mister Terrific in this movie. I don't know him that well, but I thought he was very fun. What he does, the way his fight scenes happen, was very entertaining. And I'm just like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of this. And I'm sure, I think that's the character you were talking about, where it's just like he's just a good character. He doesn't have to sit around telling you all this stuff about him and all that stuff. It's just he's
Well,
him.
here's two things about him. He never mentions race once, and he's not a race swapped character. The original character is a black character who they brought to the big screen, and people are going to this is just it's this easy how to do it. I guarantee you we're gonna see more of this guy. We're not gonna get a solo film. We might get like a maybe like an animated series with the same voice actor, something along those lines. But he's gonna be in more things. And it's this easy. You don't just have to take these characters and race swap them. Take characters from the books and bring them forward. Oh, people don't they're not popular. Who knew who the hell Peter Quill was before Guardians 1? Jesus.
All you have to
Right.
do is make a good movie with the character in it, and people will want to see more of them. That's what I'm
Ready
like
for
with
this?
Mr. Perfect now.
All you have to do is try. Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's too crazy.
Jesus.
All you have to do is get a character that people are interested in and write them well. And like you said,
Or you get a character that people have no idea who it is and make them interested in him. That's what they did here.
I do agree with you though. The scene stealer every time for the comedy at least, because that's when it mattered most, I guess, was definitely um Guy Guy Gardner. Nathan Fillion crushed it. I every scene he was in, I don't. There's just one scene. I don't know why it made me laugh so much, but when it's I think it's in a trailer even, which I didn't know until my friend told me it was afterwards because I said it was funny. but where Lois says to him that haircut should be against your vow, and he's like, my wish about what? And it's just the way he
Yeah.
delivered it. I was just like laughing so much. I was like, I don't know why. It just was super funny to me, and
Yeah.
it's definitely his performance that really makes it work as well as it does. I think he's just
Yep.
so entertaining. Every scene
Yeah.
he's in is so funny with the like I don't know with the middle finger if you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That scene there was I was like perfect. He gets this
And
character
him
very
just
well.
taking the baseball bat. There's like a romantic scene between Lois and Superman, and he's just beating this alien with a giant green baseball bat. It's like, this
And
guy's
he's not even like
awesome.
swinging. It's like attached to something and it's just like repeatedly going back and forth hitting it. I was just like, it's so
Yep.
silly. I'd say this movie is a serious movie first with a lot of good comedic moments in it. It's just unfortunately some of the, and I think I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I feel like some of those serious moments get undercut by jokes, which I really don't like sometimes. You can trust your audience enough to be like, I get it. You want younger people to be able to watch this movie, but younger people can be exposed to very serious moments. There's a scene with Russian roulette where I think they really did allow it to kind of sit and have an impact. And then you have the end where, nope, we gotta have the serious moments, and then we have to do our puny god moment. Sorry, slightest of slight spoilers, but it's so dumb. I hate that so much.
That damn Russian roulette scene actually surprised me.
Yeah,
I
I
was
know.
actually surprised, like,
It was really good. Why
because
like
I was sitting back in my chair like, nah, they're not going to do this. This is going to be a boring ass scene. And then, yeah,
And guess what they could have
wow.
done? They could have done a whoa whoops. Who would have thought that would have happened? Huh? What are the odds of that? But they don't do
Or he
that.
clicks the gun and the little stick with the bang comes out.
Yeah. But they actually let it be a real scene and it works very well. You get very emotionally like invested in that scene.
And it also it inspires, keep it vague, it inspires someone to jump into action,
Yeah,
because up until that point that person was just kind of
yeah. We won't say names,
content.
but we won't say names, but that really got me too because you hear like the crying thing and I was like, "Oh man, Superman feels really bad." And then it's like, wait, he's not the one crying. It's once again the scene just really works, and it's like, why can't you just have that for all your serious scenes? Just let them be serious. We don't need to undercut them with jokes. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. That's why I was slightly frustrated because it's like the movie knows that hey, we can have serious scenes and not undercut it with jokes, but then sometimes they'll still do it, and it's not
Yep,
necessary at all. But yeah, I think I
absolutely.
really enjoyed this movie. I'm sitting probably right now at like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 for it because I'm just like this movie isn't like a cinematic masterpiece. It's not going to be. I wouldn't say it's better than like Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, but I don't think it's trying to be. I think it was trying to do something different, and I think for what it was, it nailed what it wanted to do. So I had a good time in the theater. My friend, who's a big Superman fan, had a good time in the theater. I just wish we had more time with Clark Kent because I feel like him as Clark Kent in the movie is barely in it, except for like 2 scenes. Feels like he's Superman
Yep.
for the rest of it. And like you said, I still think Christopher Reeves has the best like difference between Superman and Clark Kent, where you honestly feel like they're two different people.
Yep. All right, let's move on. We could probably talk about this for a while, but so I'm gonna talk a little bit about I've been super into hockey lately, and there's a hockey manga that's out now, and it's on the Shonen Jump app, on the Viz app, all that good stuff. So this one, it's about a figure skater who suffered a recent tragedy. His mother died, car accident. He was in the car, uh, and he's got to concentrate on being a figure skater. He ends up winning the local championship, but after he has a complete meltdown and starts smashing everything because he's upset that his mother couldn't be there to see it. And he ends up figure skating isn't exactly the place for aggression. So he takes his talents to the hockey rink, and I, I'll keep it there. I want to encourage as many people as possible to go out and read this because it's very well done. The art obviously here is good, but it's pretty standard manga art in terms of it's solid, and I don't really know what else to say about it. It's very good. The writing is very good. The character is endearing because you can kind of put yourself in his position. I thought as soon as we got to the point where it showed his mother, because they do a little brief cutback before his final dance or performance or whatever they call it for skating, I thought he was gonna lose, but no, he wins and he completely still loses his mind because of the sadness for his mother. But I'm gonna recommend this. It's I think the Viz is 2.99 or something for there's like I think 50-ish chapters available. I've read the first few and it's quite good so far. It's interesting and it kind of hit me at the right time because I've been super into hockey, getting into that. So it is a recommend. And do I recommend it for somebody who doesn't like sports? That's an interesting one because it has a nice like story built in, and then hockey is just the painting over the top. So I think it could be enjoyable. But again, if you have the Viz app, and I think can't you do the first three for free? Yeah. So just download the Viz app, everyone within the sound of my voice. Viz on or sorry, the Shonen Jump app, and you can read the first three chapters for free. So I would recommend you at least try that. Oh my god, you're into this, huh? This is like a
It's
mess, isn't it?
well, not this one. This is Unlimited Blade Works. I'm actually watching the original Fate Stay Night. Um, like the first anime they actually made. This is kind of like so. Just for a little bit of context, I guess Fate Stay Night is a video game that is a visual novel, and there's three different paths you can take on the game. Unlimited Blade Works is the second path you can take, and the original show follows the first path you can take. Because it kind of each one follows one of the different girls. Because it's being a visual novel, it's kind of like, oh, what girl are you going to try to date or whatnot. Um, and so my friend wanted to get into Fate, so I was like, let's just start from the beginning because that's the easiest jumping in point. So we finished season one of the original Fate Stay Night, and it is a slog. You can tell that they didn't when they were first making this show because I actually don't know if it's Ufotable who made the first season. I know Ufotable's who worked on this one, Unlimited Blade Works, and they worked on Fate Zero. I don't believe they made the original, but the people who made the original didn't understand how to adapt from a visual novel to an anime well because there's so much just sitting around and talking and over explaining everything, and it's like you can tell they just like since it's a visual novel, there's a lot of talking. You can't really show a lot of action in that. Um, and so they just didn't cut down on that at all and add in more fight scene or tell that information in a more interesting way. Uh, and it is slightly unfortunate. However, it's still a very fun story, some fun characters. I'm still having a good time with my friend watching it because we can make fun of some of the more stupid stuff. But we are itching to finish up the second season so that way we can start Fate Zero, which is my favorite by far, and I think is very, very good and not often talked about. And I don't know, I feel like with Fate Zero, if you don't ever want to watch anything Fate related besides that, you'll be fine. That's just how good it is. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. We just finished the first season.
Yeah. All right.
Have you watched any of those before?
No, no. I watched a YouTube video quite a little while ago where someone tries to explain the series and it's
Oh, because
a mess.
it's a mess because of all the spin-off stuff. I don't want to get involved with that stuff. There's probably like 25 series of spin-off stuff in the mobile game.
I'm just like, we'll
Nice.
just stick to the original three things. Thank you very much.
Mere 96% on TMDB is Dexter Resurrection. So today, July 11th, the first two episodes have dropped, and I watched the first one. They give you a little recap about Dexter New Blood. During the recap, they do not give you any information on any of the previous Dexter series. Just I'm specifically talking about during the previously on Dexter situation. They recap what you need to know about from New Blood, why he's here. And in the first episode, we get the return of James Remar as Harry, of oh God, I just blanked on his name. The guy who played Miguel is Jimmy Smits. We get the return of the Trinity Killer. We get the return of Sergeant James Dokes, all as kind of vehicles to describe. So in the previously on Dexter, they talk about New Blood, but the guys who return, kind of his friends and foes from the past, they explain a lot of why he is where he is from the original series, but they do it in a way which makes you think. First of all, Trinity, when Trinity's talking to him, he explains why the original ending to Dexter worked so well. The ending we all tried to erase, and we got Dexter freaking New Blood. So I just leave it at that. Obviously, I recommend people to watch this, but Miguel comes in, he shows all the innocent lives lost. Obviously, Dexter he's killed a lot of people, but there have been some innocents who've died along the way. It's kind of like a Ghost of Christmas Past situation. Harry comes in and there's a conversation on with Dexter about should Harry have ever saved him from the shipping container. Like there's a should he exist? Yes, Dexter. A few innocent lives have been lost, including your sister. But all of the people that you killed, how many innocent lives have you saved over this time? Come on. And then Dokes pops in with pardon my French, but the first thing he says is the meme that everyone says, surprise motherfucker, which has become like a universal meme across people who've never even seen the series. So it's fantastic. Harrison is in New York City and he's kind of taking up the Dexter mantle while Dexter is in recovery after being shot by Harrison. And the first episode sets up an investigation based on Harrison's first kill because he doesn't properly dispose of the body. So I'll leave it at that. And we get the return of David Zayas as Angel Batista. And apparently he's in all 10 episodes. Spoilers, TMDB, come on. But, oh, what the hell? Marcos Zega only does the first episode? That's interesting. So, oh, that's good. Clyde Phillips was the original showrunner for the first 4 seasons that everyone loved, and obviously Michael C. Hall being an executive producer is a good sign. So, oh, and written by Clyde Phillips. David Zayas is it Zayas or Zayas? I don't know, but he's suspicious about the because he got a call from Dexter's girlfriend. There's this whole wrap up thing that happens at the end of New Blood, which was just a shameful uh, stain on this series. But it looks like Batista is going to be hunting him. So we'll see where we go from there. But it's fun so far. Paramount. Paramount Plus. It is fun. I'm excited about what's to come. There is a brief scene with Uma Thurman where she breaks into this house and obviously based on the evidence she's snooping through, it's the house of a serial killer, and she drops an invitation into his trophy. He keeps trophies of the IDs of people he's killed. She drops an invitation, and as we saw in the trailer, there's like a serial killer convention situation happening. So we're gonna meet that person. But it's very good so far. I just love the series, and they do a good job of kind of sweeping New Blood under the rug, which is what I want to do with my brain, but I can't, unfortunately. And I like to see that Jack Alcott's still there because I felt bad for him. It's not his fault that New Blood wrapped up so terribly that they tried, whoever wrote that one was trying to kill off Dexter and replace it with him, which isn't going to work. Yeah. Right. So I'm glad to see him back, and they didn't just kind of like pretend it never existed, but they took some of the good bits from New Blood and brought them forward. So we'll see how that goes. Is Dokes only in the one episode? That's my next question. Let's see. Come on, you can be in more. Nope, just one. He good for him. He hasn't changed very much at all. Him and Jimmy Smits looks a bit older, but poor what's his face? Trinity Killer. John Lithgow, he's looking pretty weathered these days, but yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little trip down memory lane and a kind of a idea of what's to come. So go watch everyone go watch Dexter Resurrection. It's all right. People think it's kind of decent. It's only a 96% out of 100. It's fine.
That's like how it's on Rotten Tomatoes score, right? So 96% of people think it's a 7 out of 10, right? That's what that means? Okay.
Yeah, but no. All right, and last but not least, the voice. I tried to watch this. Is it a lady doing this one? Because I was expecting a guy's voice.
It's a lady.
It freaked me out.
Okay. So I'm first going to say, yes, I also hate the title to this video. I actually didn't watch this for almost a month. Kind of just a blatant title that I was just like, I don't want to interact with that at all. But actually, if you look at the recommended videos...
clickbait?
Yeah. Like, not even so much clickbait, but I thought it was just going to be a video hating on Tears of the Kingdom. And I was just like, well, I don't want to watch this video. And then if you look at the first recommended video that says, like, some guy reacts to it, I was like, okay, maybe I can watch that because I can at least get somebody who's, gonna refute some of these dumb points. So I started watching that video and I was like, oh, that's not entirely what this video is about. It's not just about hating on Tears of the Kingdom. It's just a normal critique of it, which I was able to accept a little bit more. Now you can see that his video is only like an hour and a half long. He doesn't react to the full thing. So I sat down and I watched the entirety of this video. And I actually liked it quite a bit because I talked with a friend of mine who we've grown up loving Zelda our entire lives. I've known him since I was basically a baby. And we've had a lot of conversations about Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild. And I think a lot of the points that are brought up in this video are very well stated. There's some points that are brought up that I don't agree with, but it's once again not just like a hate video. It's a critique, and the lady, she explains her points, why she feels the way that she does. And so I can, I'm not just angry at the, trying to watch this video. I can understand the perspective, even though I might not agree with it. But a lot of the stuff, which comes down to like, the storytelling, most of the dungeon design, and a lot of the exploration stuff, is very critiquable. I think especially the story was the thing I was most disappointed in, and I actually thought was pretty not great the way that it's told. For those who haven't played Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, in Breath of the Wild, you go around, basically how you get most of the story is you find these memories that kind of let you know what happened 100 years ago that led to you, waking up after being hurt, and what happened to the champions, what happened to Zelda. But with those memories, they're very small, like, vignettes of character building, so they can be viewed out of order, and it doesn't really matter that much until you get to, like, the last one or two. But, like, the way that those stories are told in those memories don't need to be told in order. Meanwhile, in Tears of the Kingdom, the story very much needs to be told in order, and as they describe in this video here, spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom, but the first memory they found besides the tutorial one just opens up with the queen in the past dead on the ground, and it's like, what? How'd that happen? And it just undercuts anything you see before that, where it's like, this one actually was a story that needed to be told in order. There's a lot more. It's a 3.5 hour long video. I'm not going to get into everything, but I would say if you're interested in a critique of the game, because there is a lot of stuff to be critiqued about, don't let the title of this video throw you off. It's not just a hate video. It's actually like a very well put together and talked about video. I just don't like the title of it because it's just, you don't hate Tears of the Kingdom. You have things you don't like about it and things that could have been better. That's, more so what the video is about.
AEW All In 2025 is taking place in Arlington, Texas tomorrow. So I'll be talking about that. Should be a lot of fun. That's for next week. And I don't think I'll be able to see I Know What You Did Last Summer by the time we record. So that'll probably be for the following week. So
yeah, I think the movie that I'll watch for next week, because I don't really have anything else coming out, will be F1. Because I had
Oh, there
Superman
you
this
go.
Thursday, so I got nothing else I want to see coming out before then. So I'll watch F1 between now and then, and we can talk about that. Or I can at least talk about it. Actually watch it. And then the thing I didn't talk about this week that I'll talk about next week. I played the entirety of Final Fantasy 1.
Nice.
Very short game, but
Yeah.
get to that then.
Absolutely. All right, and that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys later.
Peace.